it's fun to watch and knowing to play. So let's get into game number 1. Super excited to be here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you let everyone know this is going to be, I believe, the final match for the tonight. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Will be, yes.
Awesome. Sweet.
It's going to be a best of 3 starting off of Coda. And I didn't get the other maps, but it will go into some more 4-player maps. A little bit more kind of laid back. Not necessarily laid back, but a little bit larger maps. Maybe go into the macro game. Game 1, though, will be the lovely Coda. EVZ, always fun on this map, and we'll see, because here we are, loaded in. Over here, the bottom right-hand corner. The Teal Protoss player, it is Marsman.
Woo! And we got some lovely banter going back and forth. Marsman wishing as we progressed forward, so you didn't have to face him again. So, spawning in our north position, it is our red Zerg player coming off of a defeat. It is Namshar.
Oh yeah, Namshar coming off the defeat, but as you mentioned, Draven, he did go 2-1 in the first series, so he should be confident and feeling pretty good. The only game that Marsman managed to take off of him was, I believe, just a big cheese, a big 2-base play, blank play, and we'll see how that pans out. Coda still got the possibility, and I'd bank off Marsman doing it again. It's very viable and quite potent. Marsman, though, we have seen him do some really, really greedy 1-gate expands and just actually Nexus firsting. Hopefully that won't be the case, and I don't think it will. From Namshar in the previous series, we have seen him take a quick 3 hatch, or at least do a pool into hatch and then take the 3rd, which is actually kind of a unique way to do it as a Zerg player. I feel like you're being careful, and if your opponent scouts you, they say, okay, I think you're maybe opening a little bit aggressively with the pool first, but still, Namshar has not shown it. We'll be doing a hatch first in this case, and actually completely switching up, which was his fault in the first series against his opponent, Marsman, because of him not switching up, doing the same thing. So I like it. Hatch first, and he should be fine, while his opponent going gate fast expand.
Yeah, you know, with the smaller maps, you almost want to open with this spawning pool first, just in case there's a cannon rush. But as we know, Namshar, there's no cannon rush. Marsman's not going to do that. So half before pool is smart. Got the pool going down now. So it should be a standard opening thus far for both players.
Should definitely be a standard opening thus far. Nothing too wacky, and I mean, this is the Lazarus match. Whoever wins moves on to the round of 16, so there's a lot of pressure here. It's not like the very first match they played where, you know, it's nice to win and move on to the winner's match, but if you don't, it's okay, cool. Sadly, because it not being a pool first, Namshar won't be able to pressure this Nexus, but it'll just kind of culminate into a very normal game, and Marsman has liked Stargate before. I'm guessing that's what we're going to see out of him, and that may do very well, especially with these Overlords kind of in not so great positions.
Yeah, they might, if they camp out, which they're doing, they might scout something, but the Marsman will definitely clear that Overlord out before he decides to put a Stargate down. But it'll be interesting to see if Namshar scouts it, sees it, defends it, or whatever the case may be. We see from it. But again, it's too early to have some leans on the map. I'm going to try just to poke around a little bit. Nothing too fancy going down yet.
Nothing too fancy, definitely just pumping out 2 lanes to be able to make sure, okay, I have some map control other than my Overlord, since they can be easily kind of pushed off from Stalkers or Sentries, just staying safe, and only now does Namshar get his gas. Now, in the previous games, previous matches, he's not got Metabolic Boost, which it wasn't an oversight because of how he's playing. He was trying to get up to +1 roaches, things like that, but it may do him pretty well for just trying to be aggressive against Marsman, especially when he has known to go Stargate. For now, here are the Lings. They will get a nice scout into the natural. Hopefully they'll be able to kind of bypass this Zealot and get up into the main. Maybe even go for a scout there because there's nothing blocking it. Oh, a little bit indecisive. They won't.
Yeah, so interesting that he decided to pull back because he didn't want, he could have had a great scout off, but, no big deal. Throws the Lings back. We see him go for his 3rd base, which is smart. He knows he's not getting attacked anytime soon. He knows that he's just starting his Nexus, or he knows that Marsman's just started his Nexus, and it's not going to have any kind of aggression yet.
Exactly, very little aggression coming out of him, even more so with Marsman. Actually, you know what, going Robo for the first time, I think, in PVZ. We've seen him, he's really liked Stalker Sentry plays, not going as heavy into the Robo, so may have a nice, cool kind of play, and that may have come from, honestly, seeing a different strategy out of Namshar, not doing that really quick third as he had before. So, Marsman may say, you know what, I'm not going to punish it, I'm going to play safe. Namshar, though, now he's adding on another gas. There's the Roach One, there's the Evo Chamber, and just kind of do an alternate opening into that culmination of a Roach +1 and Roach speed build that he has liked to do in previous games. Only on 2 gas, though, for now.
Yeah, so it's, you know, so far it's a very safe play from both players. I mean, we do see Mortal coming out, which is going to be great against his Roaches if they pop out. But it's hard to call these ones, and like they're just playing so defensively and so exactly what they're playing counters to each other essentially. I mean, with the Roaches and then the Mortals come out, so it's going to be just, you know, certain kind of timings. It's hard to call this. It's just these ones just get super back and forth throughout the entire match until an actual fight goes down. It could be either way. I would like to see from Namshar a Hydral's Den, but you know, he might jump into Spire. We just see Burrow. We might go for that Burrow movement. That Overlord just by the
So
hair,
low in health.
by that tentacle.
But yes, by the tentacle of, I guess it's like his underside, whatever. Now we do see 20 legs out on the map, 22 in total. They do have metabolic boost, and another gas did just go down for Namshar. He could go into Roach Hydra. He has liked that, but he will be kind of culminating, or he will be going towards that Roach build. Ling's about to get a beautiful surround. Got to be very careful because of the sentries, though, and pull out. And I love when Zergs do this. It takes a little bit more APM, but really taking map control and keeping your opponent scared. Off the back of this, Namshar layer is done. Third gas on the way. Burrow Roach speed +1. It's just going to go into a big ol' nice tunneling claws push, I think, and that could be exactly what Namshar needs to deny the third of Marsman, and that's how he's going to win in these situations. But for Marsman, how he's won before is just straight up 2-base plays. They're kind of going to both counter each other, as you mentioned, not only strategy-wise Draven, but just the whole idea of how they've been winning.
Yeah, and we do see a Warp Person coming out for Marsman. She's going to start either harassing, doing some drops. That Ling is going to kind of squeeze on by. See, it's only 2 base so far. And he's like, okay, you're on 2 base. You're going in with a push. I just saw 2 more Immortals. You're warping in a crap ton more of Sentries. And so this is going to be the push that's going to either make or break Namshar right now. We see Namshar destroying the rocks over there to the south. And we'll see if he averts it or he's just going to try to push forward. I think he's going to try to push forward and force the recall. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to attack the Namshar, going to force the recall, and it might turn into a quick base trade at this present moment.
Marsman has no idea that Namshar is at his front. There it is now, and that's the entire army of Namshar. Namshar does have a couple Roaches at home, no Hydras though, and sadly, right now, Marsman's army, it is the perfect counter to what, only like 16-ish Roaches at home. Yes, desperately, 14 Roaches at home, desperately, all the drones are being pulled, trying to get into a nice concave to get a beautiful surround, but there's so many sentries right now. Currently, 12 sentries in total out on the map. But back at home here for Namshar, desperately trying to kill something. I think Marsman is going to take it, but he's got to be so careful. Roaches are in a precarious position. Drones can't get a full surround, though. Lings and Roaches are coming out, but there's nothing really here for Namshar. In this situation, we have to stay calm, get some units, be patient, and then redefend. The entire army of Namshar is sacking Marsman's main and natural.
Yeah, but so Namshar is actually clearing out the base. So if they go for a base trade, you know, at the present moment, Namshar's ahead. He just has to keep this pressure off and keep this army where it's at because he's still got 2 full functioning bases.
He does have 2 functioning bases. Not only that, but he's a 36 worker lead. Marsman only has 2, and he's got to do something right here. Yes, he's got 700 minerals in the bank, but he's desperately supply blocked. 53 out of 56, and as I was saying, desperately right now, Namshar, he's got to be patient. It's going into a crazy base trade, but there are no nexuses left for Marsman. Maybe he can remake one, but it's getting dicey. The layer is being focused down, but this third base is looking amazing. And honestly, if Namshar completely pulled back, he could slaughter this army. He's got to be careful, though, not to overcommit to too many ramps with the amount of sentries that Marsman has.
Yeah, Marsman can win if he just focuses down the rest of the buildings, but he's not. He's actually running back. I'm not too sure exactly what he's doing, if he's just going to go and try to defend or what exactly he's going to do, but I think he's just going to go back to defend. He looks he's got a lot of static defense up with these spines, but I don't know. It's gonna be a deciding match right here. It's personally, I think he should have just continued with the base trade, but we'll see what kind of attack comes down for right here. The roaches go down. The roach horn goes down. He's not gonna be able to build any more roaches. He doesn't even have the money for it, anyways.
Doesn't even have a spawning pool at this point.
Right.
It's getting incredibly dicey, but this is game 1 of a best of 3. We'll see how Namshar defends this. Or actually, was it game 1 of best of 3?
This is game 1,
Oh,
best
yeah.
of 3. There's
Yep,
no
this is
probes
game
on the
one.
map. It's also good. No, there's no probes on the map. So
Oh, this is the one. This is the 1 second he can move in. A lot of the spine crawlers do on Burrow, but Marsman don't quite make it, and that is so many hallucinations.
Yep, and so he sees that they did move, but you know, at the time he should have come. But there goes the hallucinating Archons take damage, and he's just gonna push forward. Time warp goes down, and this is gonna be the hold of the century. It's so hard to call it. He's pulling the drones. I don't think he's going.
It's getting pretty scary right here. Yes, the spines are doing damage. More spines from the back will reinforce the front, but the force fields are so good. Namshar manages to defend in a base trade. Little bit of indecisiveness, but with the spines, we'll take that game. Honestly, right there, it was, as you can see in the top right, or I guess you guys can't see anymore, it was 3 supply to 60. He had no force fields left. He used everything on hallucinations.
Yeah, wow. I'm surprised he called it so soon. I really think he had the upper hand. Maybe if I was him, I would have waited a little bit longer just to be more decisive. But I mean, like I said before, I think Namshar could have won it if he just stayed at the base and completely did a base trade, because it took so long for Marsman to attack that third. But you know, again, so game 1 because Namshar, that was so close. That was so freaking close.
It was incredibly close. And at any point, if Namshar would have said, "Oh no, I need to pull back. I need to be careful," and not snipe both the next side, he would have been in a terrible position. But Namshar's clutch decision-making said, you know what, snipe both the nexus, get on out of there, take out the pylons. Beautiful game, 1-0. If Namshar can take the second game here going 2-0 or possibly 2-1 like he did in the first match between him and Marsman, he will move on to the round of 16, joining PandaBearMe. Draven, any predictions for this next game? You liked Marsman, you liked Namshar. Any thoughts?
I mean, like it's so hard. These guys are so back and forth. They're so great. Nameshard just pulling ahead each time just a little bit better. I mean, I would love to see Marsman take it just because I know he lost already 2-1. I would hate for him to go down 2-0. So I mean, I would love for him to see him take it maybe, and just have a great comeback sword. But Nameshard